97 FM, the Bahamas. And on the World Wide Web at www.love97fm.com.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes.
Maritime Matters is brought to you live by Bahamas Maritime Connection.
What is maritime?
Maritime, simply put, relates to navigation or commerce on the high seas.
Some say money makes the world go round. I say ships move the money that make the world move.
Who navigates those large international ships?
How often are international ships required to be surveyed and inspected?
Maritime also protects our seas and borders by way of our local Bahamas Defense
It
Force.
is very sad to say that out of 1,500 plus ships that are registered under the Bahamian flag, only a very small amount of Bahamians are employed.
Maritime Matters.
And pleasant good evening to you, our valued listening audience. Welcome one, welcome all. Welcome to Maritime Matters. I am your host, Captain Glenn Bain. This is Tuesday, the 13th day of August, 2024. And if it's a Tuesday, it's Maritime Matters. Our sponsors for tonight's show are the usual, 101 Pharmacy, and also Island Care Pharmacy up there in Freeport, 101 Pharmacy here in Nassau on East Street South, and of course Charles Sanders Highway in the Island Lug Building. We also sponsored by Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited, where we provide a full slate of ISPS maritime security services. I say good night to my Auntie May. Auntie May was waiting. You know, it's been weeks. I've been off the island, out of the country. I've been all over the place doing this and that and the next. And now I'm back live in studio. And Auntie May always call me, when you gonna be back? When I say, Auntie May, I can be back Tuesday. So I say good evening to my good old Auntie May. 91 years old and going strong. Boy, she got good genes, good blood, all them good stuff. Thank you, boss. And Annie May, as you know, I'm here loving you all the time, honey. You know, that's my good old Annie May. Say hello to Lauren and Margot and Vinice and the one I forget. No, she got me to kill. You're listening to Maritime Matters, people, and on this show, we talk maritime. Maritime Matters is at 17:05. That's 5:05 p.m. every Tuesday here on Love 97 FM. The purpose of our show is to highlight persons that made significant contributions to the maritime in the Bahamas and to sensitize Bahamians of opportunities in the maritime sector and to get on those slackers. Those slackers in government, those slackers in the private field, those slackers from everywhere who takes away and retracts from maritime and retracts from our country as a whole. You know, we got a lot of people to get on and we don't care. We get on them. And when you feel like getting on them, you call and let us know we need to get on somebody and we will be getting on them. We also covered current maritime issues from the domestic and the international maritime feeds. And we got loads of that for you tonight. The number to reach us on, and we ain't opening the phone line right now. I tell you now, you can call, I ain't answering no phone right now. 326-8255, I'll give you that later. To hear a replay of this show or any of our previous shows, simply hit us up at any time you wish via our YouTube page. That's Maritime Matters Bahamas. Just go to YouTube on your device and type into the search box Maritime Matters Bahamas and you will see all of our shows appear. You can choose which one you want to listen to and you could be listening all day, all night, show after show. That's how we roll. Our topics for tonight starts out with the spirit of the 2024 Olympics. And I listening to you all talking about that in maritime. We got a lot of water events in Olympics, and we got track and field. I say that's maritime, but hey, if you're living on the side, you can know what's going on with my good boy Noah Lyles and all them new records broken and all the rest of that stuff. We can talk a little bit about that from my perspective. That's it. That's why we want you call yet. Following this, we should delve into the BMA, the Bahamas Maritime Authority Ship Registry, and the drastic negligence of the Bahamas Maritime Authority Administration. Plenty negligence. I used to work with them, so I know what's going on. And I wish one of them call, and I wish one of you call, just to say how we could deal with this negligence and get things on even keel with the Bahamas Maritime Authority. We want to continue the discussion with sunken vessels reportedly causing unsanitary contamination at Porter's Key Dock. Have you heard of a Haitian migrant complaining that 1 month is not enough notice prior to demolishing a shanty town? He's in the shanty town and he's saying to the authorities, look, man, that's just 1 month notice ain't enough. Yeah, I need time to rent. Can't hardly find no place around here to rent. I got all of my grandmother, all my people with me. Look, guy, you are illegal when you live in a shanty town. Those buildings were not built to code standards. You didn't get permission to put those structures up. And you telling us you made more than a month to move out of them before we break them down? Man, Bahamians just don't get on, man. They even ain't gonna tell us move over, they're just gonna break it down. Anyway, that's what we could touch on. And then, of course, according to our dailies, there has reportedly been severe mistreatment of a Haitian woman. And whether she Haitian or not, it was mistreatment, that led to her being awarded over $500,000 in damages. So we could dig into that a little bit, find out, should she be getting this money? Boy, based on what I read, she probably should be getting more than that. But anyway, we'll know your viewers later. Touching on the international feeds, we shall have the Houthis. They're continuing their attacks in the Red Sea. Israel went up there, cruised around a bit and blam, put down 1 or 2 bombs and tell them, look, y'all better behave because you send another thing there, Israel, we trying to wipe you out. But the Houthis is not the country of Yemen. The Houthis are insurgents in spots of Yemen that pop their head up every now and then, do damage and go back down. So if you take out the whole Yemen is a poor country, man. Yemen ain't got oil. Please, don't do that to Yemen. So we could talk a little bit about the Houthi situation and a little bit about the aircraft carriers that the U.S. sent at Eisenhower being replaced by the USS Roosevelt, and then they just send another carrier up in that area because they feel like Iran could do some funny stuff, and they want heavy presence in the Middle East now, right? So as you might imagine, we are locked, we are loaded, and we are heavily laden with information surrounding these timely topics. So please, dear listener, don't you dare touch that dial. We're talking maritime, people. You are listening to Maritime Matters. At this point, we move to our first break, and when we return, we're gonna dive deep. You don't want to miss this one. Maritime Tech Matters.
At One-on-One Pharmacy, our friendly staff is ready to serve you. Visit us today for all your prescription and over-the-counter needs at our East Street South or Charles Saunders Highway locations. We're open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from 9 to 4 on Sundays. In a rush? Send your refill scripts online at oneononepharmacy.com or ask about our convenient pickup service. One-on-One Pharmacy, providing personal health care with people at heart. At Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited, we offer first-class maritime security services throughout the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean. As experts in maritime security, we specialize in production of ISPS assessments and plans, verification audits, certified familiarization training, and port security consultancy, just to name a few. Our services also include provision of a security force to maintain all required ISPS facility security compliance. For all your maritime security needs, Visit us today in Nassau at our East Street South location or in Freeport in the Kipling building. Call us at 392-3515 or follow us on all social media platforms. Bahamas Maritime Connection, your leader in maritime security. Let's help you make the connection.
Sitting in the morning sun.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Maritime Matters. I am your host, Captain Glenn Bain. 2024 Olympics activities. You know, this subject is so deep because this Olympics seem to be so different from the rest. All us watch the Olympics, boy, but I don't know, maybe because of social media and all the rest of that, the hype. But you know, this was a Caribbean explosion. Although we didn't get our people who did the way we thought, boy, we had some other people come up and they just run things, eh? We got from St. Lucia, the great Julian Alfred. You know, prior to Olympics, I didn't even know that name. Of course, she was doing big things, but I'm not a track follower like that. I didn't know who she was. Boy, but everybody knows Julian Alfred now, the fastest woman in the world. She won the gold medal in the 100 meters. And she won a silver medal in the 200 meters. And she's from a country called St. Lucia with less than 180,000 people. I think it's 179, 178,000, yada, yada, yada. Boy, look here. If you come from a country that small and you win gold, you're the fastest person in the world. You know what I mean? Now, I want you all to remember one thing. The Bahamas has never won the 100 meters or the 200 meters at the Olympics. We have never been dubbed the fastest country in the world. Jamaica won it over and over again. In fact, Jamaica got sweet in some of those situations. 1, 2, 3. So, for St. Lucia now to be the fastest country in the world are all females. That's something we never even achieved. So, you know, let's put some respect on that name. Lady Julian Alfred. And then, not to be outdone, a smaller country, Dominica. You remember when Dominica had a hurricane, and I think it was Prime Minister Minnis at the time decided he could bring some of their people to the Bahamas and take care of them until the hurricane and they're able to rebuild their place and this and that and the next. And a lot of us was in uproar. No, we ain't bringing them here, yada, yada, yada. We ain't got no money for that. And boy, look here, we Bahamians, we could be mean when we're ready, eh? Well, Dominica, that little Dominica that we assisted, have this young lady named Tia Lafon. And she did the triple jump and she beat everybody in the world. Every woman in the world she beat at Olympics. So Dominica not only got their first medal in Olympics, just like St. Lucia, first medal, they got gold medal in Olympics. You know, when you get gold, you're the number one in the world. So she's the number one triple jumper in the world. You know, when we got our first triple jump, I don't know how much triple jump medals we got in Olympics. We may have gotten more than one. But I know when Brother Frank Rutherford won that bronze medal, that was the first medal the Bahamas ever had at Olympics in athletics. And the only medal the Bahamas had prior to that was in sailing with Sir David Knowles and Cecil Cook. Outside of Sir David medal, which was like 30, 40 years prior, we never had no Olympic medal. So the floodgates was open with a bronze. And I want us to put all this in perspective. Because the very first time when Frank got the medal, we almost gone crazy. Yeah, you couldn't talk to us. We was big time. And then, of course, later on, Pauline would have gotten the gold in the 2, and the Golden Girls would have gotten the gold in the 4x1 relay. And then after that, I think Tonic would have gotten the gold in the 4. And then, of course, the Golden Knights came around, And then we had the greatest athlete, the greatest Bahamian athlete of all times, eh? And you can argue with me if you want. You don't call me and argue right now. You can argue later. But I say Shanty Miller-Weibo is the greatest Bahamian athlete of all times. Simply because she is the only Bahamian to ever repeat at the Olympics winning a gold medal. Nobody else in this country ever won a gold medal twice. Ever defended their gold medal and won. She's the only one. And I don't care what you all say or what this one say or what that one say. That ain't easy to do. And when you speak about Shanty Miller-Weibo, you need to make sure, people, put some respect on that name. Put some respect on that name. Because what she has achieved, not only for herself, but for us, the Bahamian people, all us jump up, almost happy and elated and had bragging rights when she won these medals. And you remember the first one, she had to dive to win that. Because, I mean, we can talk about that a little later, but we know she didn't really win that, eh? Well, she did really win it. But she ain't the first person to cross the line. But because of the Olympic rules, she was the winner. So yes, she won it. And she won the other one undisputedly. No controversy, no nothing. So we got Tia LaFawn winning the women's triple jump from Dominica. So St. Lucia and Dominica pull themselves place themselves, pound themselves on the map of Olympics during this last 2024 Olympics. Noah Lyles. Wouldn't be no Olympic without Noah Lyles, eh? I refer to Noah Lyles as the baby Muhammad Ali. Well, of course, he don't have the charisma and flair because Ali mouth was dead hard. But he still had plenty. Most people in the world loved him, although his mouth was so hard. Noah Lyles' mouth dead hard. Boy, and plenty people can't stand that. I don't know if he could get a little charisma and a little flair like Ali and cause people to like the hard mouth. But the man mouth hard and he back it up. So say what you like. Quite frankly, I was hoping to get beat. Because I mouth hard and I didn't like the hard mouth too much either. But the man mouth hard and he back it up. So what could you say? He brought competition hype back to sports in general. Not only to Olympics, in sports in general. He called their prancing, jumping up in the air, saying how he could win, buddy could beat him. This is what sports was missing for a while, eh? And I see nothing wrong with it. Because if he get beat, then he got humble himself. And you notice in that 100 when he thought he had gotten beat, because all of us thought he had gotten beat based on how the results looked. But the rules didn't kick in on the results yet. And he realized Kashane had crossed that line before him. But he didn't realize the angles that they were at. His torsal with a touch before Kashane torsal touch. Anyway, we could talk a little bit more about that. But this is a Maritime show. We ain't trying to get into too much details on this. But I like to talk about it because it was so interesting to watch and the whole world was watching it, eh? So, the rules break it down as follows. Any part of the torsal is, remember when we used to have them little, well, I never had no doll baby, but our sisters and them used to have them little doll baby. Them said, but you could pull the head out, you could take the hands off, you could take the foot off. Those little doll baby where you could just leave with the body. Well, that what you left with after you move the head and the hands and the foot, that is known as the torsal, eh? And according to Olympic rules, any part of that torsal touches the whole frame of the finish line, that means you come first. That means you beat the one who no part of his toe. Now remember, your hand and my foot could break that plane at the same time. Or your hand and my hand. But hands don't count. My foot and your foot, but foot don't count. They just count when they say what the time was. But they don't count when it comes to who come first and second if we both touch hands at the same time. What the rule do is they break it down further and say any part of the torso that touches the finish line plane first is the winner. So because Noah Lyles was leaning forward, his upper body would have touched that plane before Kashane's body, which was upright, would have touched. But Kashane's whole body would have crossed before Noah Lyles' whole body. But that don't count. And that's why, I don't know, those of you who've been around like me for a little while, you would remember that, I don't remember which Olympics it was, but the U.S. did the 400 and they get it at a clean sweep, 1, 2, 3. And our Chris Brown was in that race. And Chris Brown had that third wrap right up. And then the American fella who was in fourth, just before they reached the line, he went airborne like he's flying like Superman. And do you know, dear listener, that because he went airborne, his torso in a horizontal state touched before Chris Brown torso? And although Chris Brown crossed third ahead of him, he got the bronze medal. Chris Brown didn't get a bronze medal because technicality is that when they do the photo finish, this fella torso touched first. And I had a hard time with that for years. I was like, man, ain't no way they could take this medal from us, man. We had the bronze. And I know Chris would have had a harder time than me because he is a move as he get robbed, eh? And he did get robbed. But when you look at the Olympic rules, he ain't get robbed. It was just unfortunate. But the person who dived got their torso to touch before his. Not to mention, when Shawnee Miller-Weaver got the very first medal, her first medal, she got them back. Because when she went airborne to snatch the gold away from Allyson Felix, I always wondered how Shawnee won that one over Allyson, although Allyson went through the finish line ahead of her. But I wasn't aware at the time that the rules were once piece of your torso. See, when Shawnee was almost falling down, like she jumped. She just was falling down. And as she was falling, she went horizontal to a certain extent, and the upper part of her body protruded through the finish line before, because they were almost tied. They were like tied. And that was a very tough one. But she because she was falling down, or because she decided to throw herself ahead, she was able to get that goal. And thank goodness. So the rule worked once against us, one for us. But this time, it worked against Jamaica and for America, for Noah Lyles, eh? So that's the way things go. So just that top end of the torso reached the finish line plane before any other part of the other person's body, you will be considered ahead of that person. So we ought to accept that despite the fact that Kashane Thompson's body crossed the finish line ahead of Noah Lyles, the top end of Noah Lyles' torso reached the finish line plane ahead of any part of the torso of Kashane's. So it pays to run leaning forward as opposed to remaining in the upright or throwback position. And that's all we're about to say on this diving situation, right? Now let's look at these big dilemmas surrounding Jamaica and the Bahamas prime runners, Olympians. Because we know we had some issues, and we know Jamaica had some issues, eh? And I think it started off, if I remember correctly, and I may be a little off, but I think it started off with Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. She was rejected entry in the warm-up area on the day of the finals, despite being granted access during the heats or the heat races. They had heats, and when the heat was going on, they let her through. But now when the finals come, they say, oh, you can't come through here unless you, I think they say unless you in the team bus or something like that. right? You can't come by yourself. So she was made to walk a substantial distance to get to the reassigned warm-up area as a result. And it wasn't just her. It was Shikari Richardson from the U.S. as well. You see, those two were not living in the Games Village. And because they were not living in the Games Village, they didn't appear to that warm-up area by the country bus. They came on their own. And ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, these big-time stars, man. These ain't no small fries. You talk about Shelly Ann Fraser Price. You got to put all kind of respect on her name, right? So Shelly Ann had to walk. So did Shikari. And Shikari ain't big as Shelly Ann, eh? But it doesn't matter. Two of them walk. And I think somewhere down the line, she must have thought about it. But she withdrew with the complaint that she has an injury. And I can't say she wasn't injured. Because you can't never tell when an elite athlete is feeling injury. If they say they're injured, it make no sense you arguing with them. Because they elite athletes, could just be something where they feel right. Because when you're talking about the finals in the 100 meters, everything got to be aligned with the stars for you to win that race. You got to be physically ready, mentally ready, and you need a little bit of luck. But if mentally she was disturbed because these people turning her around and all the rest of that, then she obviously, she ain't had all three. One not missing. And then she said she was injured, so she ain't run. And she was expected to medal in the 100 meters. She was also expected to medal in the 200 meters. So if she says she's injured, obviously she ain't gonna run no more for the rest of the Olympics, eh? Which is a sad day to see such an athlete in her last Olympics, because she ain't getting no younger, not run simply because the officials at the gate making decisions that are not fair, in my opinion. That really shouldn't even be an issue. But anyway, those details, I'm sure they will iron out. That ain't my problem. That ain't our problem. But we know that Shelly Ann Fraser Price did not enter the 100-meter finals. She did not run the 200 meters. So these are some of the things that went wrong in the Olympics, eh? And then we had Big Stevie, our own Stephen Gardner. Went to the warm-up area. And then something went wrong. So when it was time for his heat, he did not appear on the track. I don't know what went wrong. And I don't really care. The bottom line is if Stevie didn't make it there, and Stevie is the defending champ, and Stevie already been running so well all along. I mean, last year he's injured, but he bounced back. My thing is, if he says something wrong, eh? I ain't getting in that. He's an elite athlete. And plus, we know that he loved representing this country. Say what you like, he made all us proud. So Stephen Gardner reported to the warm-up area, did not show for the actual heat. He said he was injured, therefore he did not advance. And of course, the 400 is his only event. Then Shericka Jackson from Jamaica, another household name. She withdrew from the 200-meter event at the 9th hour, claiming she have an injury. But guess what? Like I say, if things ain't lining up right, ain't no way you could win one of those sprint races in Olympics. Everything got to be almost perfect. She was favored to medal. But that Gabby Thomas. That Gabby Thomas appeared more than ready for this 200-meter goal. But she stepped her game up a notch. Who say Shericka couldn't step again? But they were even wondering if Shericka's going to break Flo Jo's record, eh? So we didn't know how that race would end up. But for some reason, Shericka said she can't run no more. And I think the reason was she said she was injured, or she was feeling some injury, or whatever the case may be. And so we didn't get to see that showdown with Shericka, with Gabby Thomas, and of course with Pocket Rocket Shelly Ann Fraser Price. Because that, I think, although we had the fastest woman in the world in our race, and she came second without the other two, it would have been very interesting to see how that turned out with the four of them in that race. And then we had a situation with our greatest athlete in the history of our country, based on her achievements at the Olympics, Shanty. Quite the top hope for many Bahamians. We thought, oh, at least we know Shanty is going to medal. We don't know if she can get the gold, but we're looking for her to get the gold, but we know that she'll get something. Right? Unfortunately, her physical condition did not measure up to the hype. You see, the competition level in the Olympics is most unforgiving, people. And this dealt Shanty a heavy blow. Because again, if all the stars are not aligned, you can't have one little itch out of place that throws you off. Otherwise, you lose. So any athlete that is not up to 100% fitness level and 100% mental level will most definitely be edged out by the other athlete who is up to speed and all the stars are aligned. My view is that Shanty and Stephen, they wanted so badly to win that medal for our country that despite not feeling 100% from the onset, physical and mental, they showed up to make that attempt. And in the midst of going through that process, they realized something ain't right. It ain't aligned. I can't continue like this. And these people already gave us gold medals, people. Why you can get down on them? You don't know what they're going through. Anyway, no other Bahamian had ever defended an Olympic gold medal event. So none of us can even imagine what the physical and mental challenges these two were faced with as reigning Olympic champions. Don't just think, oh, she can do good, he can do good. Hey, look here. These people have proven themselves, and I think we should give them the opportunity to make their decisions and live by their decisions. Can the majority of us even know what it takes to qualify for the Olympic Games? Well, let me tell you, dear listener, how difficult a task that is. I have a good friend, a very good friend of mine. He set out on a quest to qualify for the Olympics in the distance running. The marathon, to be exact. This friend was a superb runner. He actually smashed our country's national record for marathon twice. I think even 3 times. Anyway, almost every time he run, he break the record, right? He break his own record a couple times. This is the record that was set by perhaps the most renowned distance runner in our history. We used to call him the marathon man, Anthony Williams. He held that record for years, if not decades. And after many years, the marathon man national record was broken by another tenacious distance runner named Delroy Booth out of Grand Bahama, Freeport. Now, I know Delroy well. Delroy is a very composed, very serious runner. And Delroy was able to come up years later and break the marathon man marathon record. And I can tell you, this ain't no small thing to do, people. You're talking about people who running the best we ever had in our country. So my good friend O'Neill Williams, he was successful in breaking Delroy Booth's record. And subsequently broke his own record a couple times. In the process of all this, O'Neill migrated to Kenya to give himself the best opportunity to qualify and become the first Bahamian to represent our country at the Olympics in a distance running event. See, Marathon Man was really good. Delroy Booth was super good. O'Neal Williams was fantastically good. But none of them could have qualified for the marathon and Olympics. And this is how hard, I try to get you to understand how difficult it is to qualify for Olympics. I played volleyball for the national team for a couple of years. Of course, I was a second string player. I wasn't a starter. But we couldn't really make it out of this region at the time. I think we did make it out of this region once or twice, playing Osika and play some more broader Western Hemisphere competition. But we were never in contention really to qualify for the Olympics. Because when we step it up another notch, we couldn't win a game. And we had good players that were committed and obligated, and they knew what they were doing. And I can tell you, that's volleyball. Same thing with basketball. Only recently, we were able to go to Europe and play in a tournament that if we had won, we would have qualified to be in the Olympics basketball. And you know, and I know, and all of us know, that we lost that last game that if we had won, I think it was against Spain. If we had beaten Spain, instead of Spain being in the Olympics, it would have been us. So, again, with the kind of basketball team we had with all those NBA players, we were not able to make the Olympic qualifying standard. This is how difficult it is to get in the Olympics, people. Don't just think because you see Bahamians in the Olympics, oh, they ain't doing that. They come in. No. What they had to do to even get there is what you need to question yourself. Because it is extremely, some countries never even qualify to go to Olympics. So when I tell you that it's very difficult to meet the qualifying standard for any Olympic event, a statement is coming from a place of knowledge and experience. So when we hear that we have 3 females qualified for the 100-meter hurdles, we should be celebrating just for them being able to qualify for that Olympic event. We should be celebrating even in the heats, just because they're on the track in the heats. They're already at Olympics. You know what they had to do to get there? Well, I wouldn't put it on you to say you need to try. Or trying is a waste of time if you ain't gifted. First of all, you got to be gifted. And then you got to hone your skills to be able to make it to that Olympic level. Eh? When we hear that one of our athletes made the finals in an event, let me tell you something. Back in the day, we had Debbie, we had Pauline, we had Chandra, we had Savatita. All of them would make individual finals. And then we'll see them running the 100 and the 200 finals, and they come 6 or 7. We say, oh man, I know what they might as well didn't go. You know what it is to make the finals in Olympics? First of all, you got to qualify. That means you already beaten most people in the world. And then when you make the finals, that means only less than 8 people in the world could beat you in that event. The world, not the Caribbean, not the Americas, the entire world. You got China coming at you, Japan coming at you, Britain coming at you, America coming at you, all the South America coming at you, all Africa coming at you. You know what it is to be in the top 8 in the world? And we had Devon in the finals. And some people, boy, I know what she could do, but I hope she don't get black. But look here, y'all better put some respect on Devon Charlton's name, yeah? Put some respect on her name. The achievements that she have made for us to belittle because she didn't get an Olympic medal. Only 3 people in the whole world get an Olympic medal. Y'all better watch yourself. Oh, y'all don't know what's going on. So when a Bahamian actually wins an Olympic medal, we should scream and shout with joy, because we know that our countryman is one of the top 3 persons in the world in that event. In the entire world, our little Bahamas. And if we are ever so fortunate to have a Bahamian win a gold medal, like we did numerous times, and we think that because we done that numerous times, we always supposed to get a gold at least every Olympic. Let me tell you all something. You all don't understand half of what's going on in this world. We are significantly overachieved in Olympics. We're the number one country in the entire world when it comes to per capita Olympic success. And we take that for granted because we spoil, you see. So people, when you all see we get people qualifying for Olympics, please put some respect on that person's name. So please, watch how you talk about Shanty Miller Weibo. Put an abundance of respect on her name. She's the only Bahamian to ever repeat as an Olympic champion, ever in our whole history of our country. So David didn't do it. Yes, he repeat as world champion, but not as Olympic champion. She is the one Bahamian that ever did that, ever. So if you ain't calling her name in an uplifting capacity, please don't call her name. Be very careful how you speak about Stephen Gardner. Put some respect on his name. He is the second Bahamian to ever be in a position to defend his title as an Olympic champion. Because the other champions who were Pauline, the Golden Girls, Tonic, and the Golden Knights, they never really defended. Or maybe the Golden Knights did, or did they? I don't think they ever defended their title. I think they break up and lost one or two players, and I don't think they really qualified to make the finals in the preceding. And I could be wrong, and I wish I'm wrong. But Stevie did. Shanty did twice. So please, when you speak those names, please put some respect on those names. Please discontinue treating Tonic Williams or Pauline Davis as regular Bahamians, because they are not regular Bahamians. They are great Bahamian heroes. Great enough to have achieved an individual Olympic gold medal. And only 4 people ever did that. 4 people. Well, Miller Weibo did it twice. Shanty did it twice. But we only got Pauline and Tonic and Shanty and Stevie did that in the history of our country. Nobody else ever did that. We don't know when anybody else might ever do it. Get an actual gold medal in the Olympics. It's that easy to do. Making the finals right now is very difficult. But people, we need to do better. Let's pay appropriate homage to the Golden Girls and the Golden Knights. Whenever you see them. Yes, you say they all wash up now and this and that and that. Let me tell you something, yeah? You see that American relay team with all that running power, and the Jamaican relay team with all that running power could not advance to the finals simply because they messed up on that exchange. Our relay teams, the sprint relay team with the Golden Girls and the 4x4 relay team with the Golden Knights, they were almost flawless when it came to passing that baton. And they were better than the rest of the world, and that's how come they were able to get the goal, eh? So let's give them proper homage. How quickly we forget how they all made us so proud when they caused our national anthem to be played loudly for the entire world to respect. Most of us actually wept tears of joy in those moments. And now, we put aside those proud moments and carry on as though these people they're not even heroes anymore. we all ought to do better, people. We have to do better. We have to respect our athletes who have proven themselves, those who have not proven themselves but trying hard to do so. Let's put some respect on some of those names, man. So that's it. Me and Olympics. Now, the number to call, if you want in on this discussion, you can call me now. I finished what I had to say. If you want, let's talk some more about some of those. I'm happy, but we move into our maritime segment. But the number to call is 326-8255, 326-8255. If you want in on this discussion. Oh, look like we got a caller.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, wonderful. My apologies. I must be pressing a button I wasn't supposed to press. My producer come and rescue me just now. I'm in good shape, man. A little hard under the collar when I think about how we try to treat some of our athletes. But how are you, my brother?
Every time I want to cry, and I want to cry of joy, I go to YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And when I go to YouTube, all I do is punch up our Olympic athletes of the past, and some of them are here in the present, and I get a good, sweet cry.
Oh, yeah.
Because all I can see is when America was in that red suit, and that guy was kicking like a horse, and our boy just ran past him, you know what I mean, like he was parked, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's joy.
Cries of joy. Anytime I watch those relays, the female or the male, you have to share it. I mean, if you're human and if you're Bahamian, you will share a little bit of test.
And you remember Tanique, when that Mexican girl was so big and tall, and looked like she could have beat anybody running. When Tanique passed her, and that was it.
She had to dig deep and use all the guts she had to win that. And we forget these things.
And Stevie, I don't care what they say about him. He's just as smooth and cool as the wind.
Yeah, man, he make it look like the rest even he on the track. And he done it over and over again. People be like, oh, we don't know if he can win this one. And the commentators don't even like to when he win, they don't know what to say. But
you know why they don't know what to say? Because we are a little black nation, and they don't realize what's happening down here. You know what's happening down in the Caribbean? Mm-hmm. All the athletes in the Caribbean came from like a system where they took all the black people, all the big guys, and he bred them with all the big ladies, and they super bred the athletes of the Caribbean. We are
just powerful, just powerful. Yeah, we just powerful.
Fantastic, built. You remain from the best.
Indeed, my brother. So what you saying, man? How everything going up there?
Man, let me let you know something. God is shining down, and it's hot.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but I mean, I gotta try and find somewhere to cool down.
Indeed.
I ain't doing it.
Yes, sir.
And my fine blue. So you know tonight, I gotta sleep under the trees tonight.
Well, watch that mosquito now up there in 8 Mile Rock. You know you.
The mosquito don't bite in 8 Mile Rock no more.
No? Well, you from Eleuthera, man. You used to get bite with mosquitoes. That ain't no problem for you.
The mosquito, they migrate to Nassau.
All right. Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you so much for calling. I'm going to dig up into some maritime stuff now. I just thought I'd get that stuff out while the Olympics is still kind of hot on the scene.
Yes, sir. Let them know we got the best. We will always be the best. And guess what? We got some young ones coming. And let the world know that they'll be waiting and seeing us on the Olympic stage more and more and more, and then they can give us our recognition. Bye-bye. See you later.
Indeed. Thank you so much, my friend. Yes, that's my good old buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to Maritime Matters. I'm your host, Captain Glenn Bain. And we are now moving into our maritime segment. Oh, that's a whole hour we talk about. Well, okay, ain't quite an hour, but it's close enough. We talk about Olympics. So now that is done, the dailies speak of strong interest still in Bahamas ship registry. And they had a recent graduation with LJM Maritime Academy. And our Honorable Minister of Transport praised the BMA for maintaining a decent ship registry. But oh, how the BMA leaves so much to be desired surrounding direct benefits of Bahamians from this decent ship registry. As a result of this remarkable ship registry, we're supposed to be blinging. When will we have the provisions in place to have the majority of crew on board these 1,500 plus ships, international ships, be Bahamian nationals? When are we gonna channel Bahamians? I'm not only talking about in the officers' capacity. I am mainly talking about in the ratings capacity, the oilers and the wipers and the able seamen and the rating forming part of navigation watch. They have more of them on board those ships than officers, eh? They are easier to do that training. But once we train the people now, we got to be able to get them on our ships. Sure, we don't own them, but we're in bed with the owners. And as a BMA, as an administration, we should be able to negotiate on behalf of our citizens. When will we be having all technical staff in the BMA office to be Bahamian nationals? Right now, I don't know if we have even one technical officers in the BMA that is a Bahamian. And I may be wrong, but somebody call please and let me know. In that technical hub in the London office, and we don't know the London office need to come to Nassau, but in that technical hub, even when I was in the BMA, we had Dwayne Hutchinson before, but he's no longer in that hub because he's now the director. He's in charge. He's the managing director. So when he left, and for all those years he was there, we should have had at least 3 or 4 other Bahamians in there coming up, eh? Didn't happen. And I have documentation to show that it should have happened. Didn't happen. When will the BMA ensure that all non-SOLAS vessels operating in the waters of the Bahamas undergo annual safety and pollution prevention surveys based on the local safety certificate regime that they speak of in the Merchant Shipping Act, to ensure that necessary minimum standards are being maintained on those vessels? We know that we just had a vessel sank just off Morgan's Bluff, off Jolter's Keys there, coming from Northwest Light. And I have yet to see. Now, I saw in the papers where they said they call off the search, but I saw nothing in any of the dailies pertaining to a casualty investigation into those 4 lives that were lost. Nothing to say that an investigation is being sought to see if that ship was properly certified, if that ship should have been on the water with those lives. And we got a lot of other ships out there that are probably not certified because we don't have a certification scheme as we're required to under the Merchant Shipping Act by giving out local safety certificate to all these non-SOLAS vessels operating domestically in the Bahamas. So don't come tell me, oh, we have a magnificent registry administration for the Bahamas, the BMA, when there's no standards. There are no standards for vessels, and I don't know small dingy boats, you know. You go to Porter's Key and you look at the western side, the size of those ships that have those ramps on the dock. Some of these are monsters. And you know, we wasn't used to having vessels over 500 gross tons come to Porter's Key dock. But some of them are over 1,000. Hey, we used to have the Fiesta Mail, which is some 1,800 gross tons, no, 2,400 gross tons. Over 2,000 gross tons sitting on Porter's Key dock. Well, of course, they were fully SOLAS because they went in and out of Florida. But if you get some similar to that size, well, they just as long, some of them even longer, and they're not going into Florida, you can't even register if they that vessel for, if you say you ain't registering nothing under 500 gross ton. So you need to fix that back to unlimited tonnage for local registration, and you need to fix it back for A-class license, unlimited tonnage, and not talking about up to 500 gross ton, because how you deal with a fellow, how you can license a fellow to drive a vessel that is 800 or 1,000 or 1,500 gross tons, and you put a stipulation in your boat registration act where you're limiting the captain to only 500 gross tons. That don't even make no sense. So let's fix some of these things, get the laws right, and let's get the standards right by way of this local safety certificate. We have in our dailies, and time running, eh? So, producer, I think we can take another break right now. Then we come back and wrap up. Because we in our maritime stuff now, and I running real hard, and it ain't getting no easier. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Maritime Matters with Captain Glenn Bain. We are going to take a second break for the night, after which we'll come and conclude on this maritime dilemmas. Thank you very much.
At Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited, we offer first-class maritime security services throughout the Bahamas and the wider Caribbean. As experts in maritime security, we specialize in production of ISPS assessments and plans, verification audits, certified familiarization training, and port security consultancy, just to name a few. Our services also include provision of a security force to maintain all required ISPS facility security compliance. For all your maritime security needs, visit us today in Nassau at our East Street South location or in Freeport in the Kipling Building. Call us at 392-3515 or follow us on all social media platforms. Bahamas Maritime Connection, your leader in maritime security. Let's help you make the connection. At One-on-One Pharmacy, our friendly staff is ready to serve you. Visit us today for all your prescription and over-the-counter needs at our East Street South or Charles Saunders Highway locations. We're open Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from 9 to 4 on Sundays. In a rush? Send your refill scripts online at oneononepharmacy.com or ask about our convenient pickup service. One-on-One Pharmacy, providing personal health care with people at heart.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, then I'll watch them roll away.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Maritime Matters. I am your host, Captain Glenn Bain, and we're having a lively discussion tonight. We were mainly talking about Olympics. Now we're moving on to the BMA. Oh, we finished with the BMA. We don't need to go no harder on the BMA. We're going to get into some other maritime daily stuff that we found in the dailies. And the number to call if you want in on this discussion is 326-8255. That's 326-8255. We had another topic out of the dailies, contamination concerns over numerous sunken vessels at Porter's Key. And we got this captain, a veteran captain, Jed Munro. Captain Jed Munro advised that there are about 10 sunken vessels at Porter's Key dock. And they are now leaking or seeping diesel and creating a health contamination hazard. And, if Jed said it, I believe it. Because I know Jed. And those who don't know Jed, you need to know Jed. Who is Jed Munro? Captain Jed Munro. He's the captain / owner of the Island Link, I think it is. That's the boat that goes into Long Island and Naughty Lutra and that type of thing. But Jed is from a ragged island family of boaters. His younger brother named Sean is another boater. And his father is the legendary Emmett Munro. And anybody who know anything about mail boats and boats from back in the day would know about people like Emmett Monroe. They would know about people like Edens Taylor. They would know about the entire Taylor family, the entire Monroe family, and they have a lot of other families, the Moxies and that type of thing. These people were in mail boating from Timbuktu days. So whenever one of those local boatmen complain about a matter negatively, you know that is negatively impacting their trade because they don't complain much. And then they don't like call out things much because they just don't like trouble, eh? So for Jed to get to this state where he really going to the press and saying, we got to do something about these 10 boats that are sunk. I am really kind of surprised, to tell you the truth, because that don't normally happen. But it got to be real bad, people. So in this case, we got to get a move on moving those sunken vessels, thereby getting rid of the contamination hazard. And I have one good info that the Bahamas is trying to, our Ministry of Transport and Port Department and whatnot, they're trying to source funding to actually get these boats. See, the owners ain't got no money to take them. It ain't easy to just take them boats up. You don't just go there and take them boats up. You got to pay somebody to be able to float them, first of all. And then when you take them up, you got to temporarily float them so that you could get them out in the ocean somewhere and then let them go down. In the deep ocean, that's where they need to be. So, money need to be had to get these things done. And I have one good source that the government is moving forward in securing funding to get things like this done. But in the meantime, if it's causing a problem, we ain't turning no blind eye to it. It's the government, let's move fast enough, eh? You're moving too slow. So, speaking about Porter's Key and issues at Porter's Key, I have on good, credible information that progress is being made to have all client operations be done at locations away from Porter's Key. You might remember a couple shows back I say, these people who own these mail boats and these freight boats, they should have a depot someplace over the hill away from Porter's Key area where me, you, and other people who want to put something on that boat or get something from the island that came on that boat, we could go to their depot and do our business. And my boy Muff called in, I think, during that show, and he said, just like they do in the States, if you want to go to Betty K in the States, you don't go straight to the boat. You got to go to their building, their warehouse to carry things. You make up your own pallet, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. So what we need is for each one of those mailboat contractors to have an establishment somewhere away from Porter's Key where people can carry their goods. They could build their own pallet or do whatever they want to. But when it's time for that ship to sail, the actual pallets are taken into the containers on site and taken from that site by trailer head to Porter's Key, where the container goes straight on the ship. And then you don't need all them containers stored all over Porter's Key. All of them will automatically be rid of, because you ain't have no more excuse why they're there. And I have a good source that the Port Department is moving toward making this happen. And I'll be the first one to scream and shout hallelujah if it happens. So all cargo storage container units, office sheds, etc., being stored at Porter's Key will not be allowed to remain there, but be relocated to the owner's business establishment somewhere away from Porter's Key dock. And that is what I am being promised, is being sought, and that is what I am looking forward to. And I can tell you, they're saying a drop, they're saying a stop, because Porter's Key ain't a stop. As long as Porter's Key can't like that, we're giving it more time, and we'll be addressing it all over again. What are we going to do about the many vessels speeding up and down in our already congested Nassau Harbor. You know how congested Nassau Harbor really is? When you think about that bottleneck between Porter's Key and Paradise Island, underneath the bridge. It's a little narrow passage that all of these ships doing all these activity be running up and down all day. And some of them be hauling a hightail, speeding. What is going to be done about this? Where is the science that states that you should not be doing more than 10 miles per hour or 5 miles per hour or 5 knots or 10 knots, whatever the case may be, in this area, 20 miles per hour in that area? Because what happens when these boats speeding up and down? You got yachts and other vessels that are docked, that because the water becomes choppy from these wake of the speed, your boat's getting lick upside the dock and this and that, and it shouldn't be. So when will the police and or the defense force with their fast patrol boats commence issuing tickets to those violating the speed regulations? Why? How come the police ain't pulling people down and saying to them, we saw you speeding, we got you on camera, you need to go to court to answer this charge, or you've been fined so much, you need to go to the prosecutor's office and pay your fine, or something. We see the defense force boats out there every day. We see the police boats out there every day. But do they ever stop one boat for speeding? And we know the boats speeding all the time around them. Do they ever stop even one boat and arrange to get them go to answer speeding charges in court? Do they know what the regulations are pertaining to vessels speeding within 200 feet from land? I remember we had, Lord, I got any time left? Yeah, I still got some time left. We had this high-speed race around Paradise Island. I forget but these high-speed boats, they're in 70, 80, some must say 100 miles per hour. And they wanted to do a race couple times around Paradise Island, come through Nassau Harbor, around Paradise Island, through Nassau, and they did it a couple times. But you know what had to happen for them to do that? Because I was deputy port controller, and I told them, I said, well, you wouldn't be able to do this race here. There's like, why? The tourism officials called me in a meeting, and I told them, I said, based on our Water Skiing and Motorboat Control Act, no boat shall move at a speed more than 3 miles per hour, or is it 5 miles per hour, when they are within 200 feet from any land. And that's our law. So they had to do all kind of things in order for the purpose of this event, for the government to, what they do. I don't want to use the wrong term because I know legal mind, right? But for the government to put aside, and I saying it wrong, but the government had to find a way in order for this event to happen. A lot of tourists were coming in for this event, to say they're not violating the law because we have certain things in place and this is monitored and this is only for a certain period of time, because outside of those periods they wouldn't have been able to do those speeds, and the law didn't change, dear listener. So those people who speeding up and down in the harbor, every time they do that, because they always within 200 feet of land, when they're in that little bottleneck area, every time they do that, they're violating the Water Skiing and Motorboat Control Act, and they should be brought before the courts. So the police and defense force don't need no law or nothing. Mind you, it'll be nice to put some science in place, It'll be nice to put some science in place. And I think the authorities should feel obligated to put some science in place. Because if a tourist come in and they see no sign, they ain't got no reason to know what our law say. Especially if the locals don't even know. So we need to do something about that. We need to put some science in place, number one. And we need to do some sightings, get those boats that we pay so much money for to be up and down in the harbor burning gas, to actually start making some of that money back like they do when you get a traffic ticket, Now we move to another hot button topic. The Haitian man who claim that 1 month notice to clear the shanty town is not enough notice. You notice 1 month for you to move from someplace, some illegal activity you engage with? I think that's too much. I think it's give you 2 weeks notice. Because number one, you shouldn't have been there to begin with. And it goes to say 24-year-old Haitian man, fares his fine. And I believe this Haitian, I don't know if he was born here, but I ain't getting into no speculation, right? But the bottom line is he's in the shanty town. And my friend Craig Delancey and his team is telling them, look, we give you all 1 month to get out here because we're coming to break this down. And he's out there going to the press talking about, oh, they inhumane. How will you find someplace to live in 1 month? We done been here now a couple of years. And oh, my Grammy and my little child, oh, you know, what I supposed to do with that? Look here, if you was a Bahamian, full, what you call it? Not generic Bahamian. Oh, my friend who's called, what she say this? Anyway, if you was a real Bahamian and you living in a place that is not built based on the building code regulations, you ain't getting no 1 month notice. They're breaking it down then. But I guess because you're not a Bahamian or because you're organic, because you're not an organic Bahamian, you figure you have more rights or you should be treated a little more carefully or whatever. I don't know. But my friend, I tell you, you're breaking the law. You've been breaking it for too long. We're now trying to take our areas back where you guys has violated. You ain't got no cesspits. And anyway, I ain't getting into all that. We didn't talk about all that, man. The reality is you need to move. Move, carry your family somewhere else. Go rent a place. If you can't rent, go live with your family. You all know how to, you know that's what you could do. But you can't stay there. Eh? And then we got, as we move closer to our closing time, again, you're listening to Maritime Matters, people. On this show, we talk maritime. Number to call is 326-8255 if you want in on this discussion. We got minutes left, less than 10 minutes left, but we're going to press on regardless. $575,000 awarded to a Haitian woman that was denied citizenship. And this is an interesting story. And you know, to wrap it up in a nutshell, we got a situation where this lady, be it Bahamian, Haitian, American, British, Israeli, whatever nationality, was taken advantage of, eh? I think she applied as the law provide for her citizenship when she became 18, because based on what I can read into it, she was born here and all the rest of that. And they kept kicking that can down the road. Every year they kick it further. And I think it took 7-8 years before she was able to get it, whereby it should not have taken 1 year. And during that period, they actually had her locked up in the detention center. Now, why would we have a detention center to begin with? Why we want people in detention center? See, because when you have a detention center, you are creating opportunities for people to sue your government. You are creating, why would you hold 500 people? And I know it ain't that much, but let's say you holding 500 people in that detention center. But yet, you get 105,000 of those same people in your communities undocumented. So you're feeding those 5. You're harassing those 5. They're harassing you. You're tying up your officers. You're paying light bill to keep that place going. But yet, most of the people who threatening you by taking your jobs and doing all the rest of that, they're out in the community. So how about this, Mr. Government? How about shutting down that detention center? Just shut it down. Let everybody go. Tell them, let's leave the gate open one night like you forget, and let them go. And shut that down to never open again. Because what we can do now is we're going to make sure that all those people who we had guarding detention center and watching these people and feeding them and cooking and doing all these things, those same set of people, we can make a task force to go on job sites and ensure that no undocumented person is working on any job site that they go to. And anytime they find an undocumented person, they put the owner of that site in court for violating our laws. Because our laws, our immigration laws, say nobody should hire a person in this country unless they have a work permit under the Immigration Act. Of course, if they're Bahamians. But you shouldn't hire a person in this country that is not documented. In other words, if they don't have a Bahamian passport, they must have a work permit. Because we got a whole heap of people out there working even on our big resorts. And I know, without work permit, because they can't get no work permit. But the people won't hire them so that they can undercut and pay them whatever they feel like paying them, because the people ain't gonna make no noise, they can't complain because they ain't documented. Lock up the person who hired them. I even didn't want you to touch the people who work in, Let them continue to work for that day. Because of course, if you lock up people who hire them, they can't come back there the next day, because that person ain't gonna have them there no more. They won't get locked up again. So this is where we need to make this shift, people. We need to make this shift from having a detention center to enforcing our laws, where it is very difficult for an undocumented person to find a job in this country, because number one, the employer is afraid to hire them because they don't want to end up in court and have to pay them big fine and go to jail. And number two, the employee ain't gonna feel comfortable because they can get locked up too. They ain't getting no detention center again, for Foxell. Because they break the law. They're criminals now. And that's where we need to go if we want to be sensible in a country like this. Why are we putting focus on detention center and holding 3 or 5% of the people and thinking we're doing something positive? That are you wasting it? You're wasting time. You're tying up your people, causing people to sue you. You got to buy food and spend all kind of money on facilitation. Why? Shut it down. Sell the place. Let somebody do some business or something there. And we ain't chasing no more illegal immigrants or illegal migrants. We're not chasing nobody. We don't need to chase nobody. Everybody who here and they're not documented, they don't want to be here, They ain't like us. You think we don't like that? They ain't like us either. They just trying to make some money to send home or to go back home with some money so they could build their own whatever they want to do. And they're only here to try and be employed. And if you cut off that line of employment, what they could do? They don't want to be here no more. So they're going to find a way to get out of here. You don't have to worry about repatriation. You got to buy that ticket and send them. No, sir. They will repatriate themselves. Because if they can't make no money here, they can make money. I ain't suggesting where that might be. But I know one thing. They ain't gonna stay here. The very reason why they pass Cuba and Jamaica, they don't pass those places. Those places are far more closer than Nassau to Haiti. Reason why they don't go to those places is because even if they sneak in, the authorities ain't allow them to work. Only us, so slack and so nice. Excuse me. And not only slack, with migrants. We slack in almost every facet of government because we're so highly corrupt that we're only looking for that extra couple dollars besides our, or beyond our salaries. Excuse me. So we're not trying to lock up people who violate the laws that are clearly being violated, and they should be faced with jail time or fines, or both. We're just looking for the easy way out. Put them in the detention center. Put some in the detention center. The rest, man, let them do what they want to do. Man, how much of them is lock up? How much people hiring them is lock up? I never even nobody get locked up for hiring an illegal migrant in my life. But yet that been on the books from Timbuktu days. Anyhow, that is how we're gonna end our show tonight, people. We are fresh out of time. We had one or two maritime issues left, but the hoodies. Let's go international next lap, eh? We ain't going local, domestic. We had our time for that. And we finished with the Olympics. So we talk about the hoodie situation. We'll talk about the aircraft carriers and what they represent in that belt over there, in that region of the world. And I want to thank you for listening to Maritime Matters. I had one big call. That's my dog up in Freeport. I really wasn't looking for no calls. I didn't expect to get none because I wanted to get some information out. I think I did. So I want to thank you for listening and continuing to listen to Maritime Matters. I want to thank my good producer. I want to thank my good old Annie Mae for keeping me in tune and always wanting to hear what's going on with Maritime Matters. I want to thank my sponsors. That'll be 101 Pharmacy on East Street, Charles Sanders Highway, Island Care Pharmacy, downtown Freeport, and of course, Bahamas Maritime Connection Limited. That's us, the Maritime people. We deal with all ISPS Maritime Security Services. That said, I say to you, as always, Maritime Matters. Tick, 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 tick. Out.
I'll be sitting in the evening car.